Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second annual Refugees in the Arts event. I'm Jennifer Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of the International Rescue Committee in Denver, and it's a real pleasure to be here with you this evening. Thank you for making space in your busy lives and also for joining us virtually. We hope that we can be in person again next year, but we are really happy that we still have the opportunity to take a moment and celebrate the many accomplishments of refugees in our community and the great work that they have done together with our team and with the support of so many volunteers and community members. So tonight we have a really special event planned and a really wonderful film to share with you that highlights our We Can Do It program, and you'll hear more about that in just a little bit from our psychosocial support specialist, Mireille Bacos. But for now, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to update you on where we're at. It's a very interesting moment in history in terms of refugee resettlement and also in terms of protection for displaced people. We are seeing ever greater numbers of people forcibly displaced around the world. Just about a couple of weeks ago, I guess it is now, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees released the latest statistics on displacement globally and now show that more than 80 million people are displaced. And within those 80 million, more than 26 million people are refugees, meaning they have crossed an international border. The remainder are seeking asylum, perhaps, or displaced internally. And so there are some who do not cross borders and end up needing protection in other parts of their home countries. But it is a massive scale and sometimes hard to comprehend, especially since we know that this is now larger than any displacement crisis that's been documented in human history. However, I think it's really important to take a step back and to focus on the things that we can do, since I think many of us are not in a position to solve the global displacement crisis. We can show up every day in our communities and interact with people who have lived through displacement and who are rebuilding their lives here. We can learn from them, we can share our experience, and we can support them as they work to integrate into our communities and become our new neighbors. So I'm glad that you're all here. I hope you'll join us in those efforts. We are looking at a really interesting, I think, 15 to 18 months ahead. As you will know, the last 4.5 years have been really challenging for refugees in the United States and around the world. We saw the United States really step back from its commitment to being an international humanitarian leader and drastically reduce the numbers of refugees that were admitted. We are still, I think, at this point in the year at our lowest numbers in history for any year since we started welcoming refugees, which actually started well before the passage of the Refugee Act of 1980. So we're on track to admit maybe 18,000, possibly 20,000 refugees this year, but as of this moment, have not even come close to that number. So we're anticipating at the IRC a very busy summer and early fall as we head toward the end of the fiscal year in September. We are thrilled that we're seeing people arrive. In June alone, we have 40 new clients arriving, so things are definitely picking up, and we are starting to see people arriving from all over the world, very different from what we had seen in months past when people were being canceled. They were travel ready, they were approved for resettlement, and they were canceled because it didn't fit into the Trump administration's definitions of who could come into the United States. So we're happy we're in a moment in time where we're seeing a lot of that shift. We're seeing a lot of restrictions lifted. We're hopeful that many people will have the opportunity not only to find safety here, but also to be reunited with loved ones through the Refugee Resettlement Program. And we're really counting on all of you to walk with us in this journey, to be there with our clients, to help support them as they get to know their communities, and to show up so that they have friends and they have family, even as they're finding their way in an entirely new country. On the asylum front, we continue to serve quite a few asylum seekers, primarily through our program that aids people who have survived torture. And we are seeing a steady uptick in the number of people who come seeking services. And that's due to a number of things. One is that there are some restrictions that have been lifted that were barring people from entry into the United States. We're keeping people in Mexico while they were seeking asylum. And some of those people are now being allowed to come in. There are also some settlements of court cases that are allowing restrictions to be lifted that were barring people on the basis of public health, and some measures in place to help ensure that while the pandemic continues on, that people are able to still seek safety here in the United States. At the same time, we are seeing that there are some new policies that will be impacting our clients in a way that we're very concerned about. In an effort to clear the backlog of asylum cases in the immigration courts, the Biden administration has announced new rules that will provide what's called a docket, so basically a caseload of asylum seekers who will be processed in an expedited manner here in Denver and in a few other cities around the United States. And that may sound like a good thing for people to be able to win cases quickly. However, if you're facing removal, you're trying to defend yourself, and you're trying to build your asylum claim, that's not an easy task, and it can be very hard to access legal assistance and find your way through that system. The new rule says that that must happen within 300 days, which is just an incredibly short period of time. So we're working diligently with our teams, both on the program side and in advocacy, to try to support people as they navigate those systems and to encourage some other options for ensuring that the asylum system is functioning. It's a very complicated problem, and it's not a new problem, so it will take some time to resolve, but we are here to do it, both for the people who show up needing services and in working in partnership with the US government and other entities that are engaged in those efforts. I'm also really excited to highlight some advocacy pieces. We week before last, we're really excited to see a bill that will create the Colorado Office of New Americans pass the Colorado General Assembly. And so it's on the way to the governor's desk for signature, which will be a really important step in continuing to show that Colorado is committed to being a welcoming place for refugees and immigrants. This bill was spearheaded by our Colorado State Advocacy Officer, Victoria Francis, who many of you may know, and will create this office that has convening authority across all state agencies to work with them to create policies and systems that are more amenable to the needs of refugees and immigrants and to support the communities that welcome them. It will also be a place where organizations like the IRC can go when there are issues that their clients are facing, to lift them up and really work through solutions, and hopefully will help to streamline a lot of things that are very hard, and not only for our clients to navigate because of the barriers they encounter, but for us as service providers as well. And we are also looking forward to that bill creating some mechanisms for refugees and immigrants to have more voice and choice in the decisions that are made for them at the state level, which is also a commitment that we're mirroring in our office to ensure that we have a client advisory committee and other mechanisms in place so that our clients are the ones identifying the things that they need and the solutions that suit them best, and we are taking the lead from them. So there's a lot going on, from resettlement ramping up, a lot of asylum needs and changes in that system, much going on the advocacy front. And we are really looking forward to all that comes ahead. It's been an incredible year. It's been a very hard year. I think you'll see some of these things come through in the video in terms of the challenges that the people we serve have faced, but also just the incredible strength and the assets that they bring forward, the things that they draw on in terms of social support and interest in being there for one another and connecting with others in their community, whether they're people from their own cultural, social, religious, or ethnic group, or people who they've never met, who are their new American neighbors. So I hope you'll enjoy learning more about this program. And to tell you more about what's in store, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Mireille Bacos, who is our psychosocial support specialist.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm so excited to be here today, and I'm carrying with me all the excitement of the women that worked really hard on this documentary. So I hope you'll feel all this energy tonight. As you know, displacement experience is very challenging, and then you add a pandemic to it, which makes it even more. But then we decided to do a documentary during a pandemic with a refugee woman. And we did not want to stop this idea because the women are like, yeah, we can do this. So we got a lot of energy from them and a lot of power to keep going despite all the challenges. So We Can Do It is a program that's 3 years old now and served a lot of women. And I will not say a lot of details. The documentary will talk more about data, but I want to share that I think We Can Do It touched a lot of lives, not only clients' lives, but also all the people that worked in this program, from interns to volunteers, facilitators, translators, IRC staff. And I hope that you will feel how much this program helped women to connect again and to feel that they are not alone in their journey and this experience that they're going through. So the documentary you'll see today is a 30-minute documentary. We had a lot of raw footage, but because we cannot share everything, we had to limit to 30 minutes to bring you the best of the moments we filmed. Also, as you know, we're in a pandemic, so we had a lot of masks, we had a lot of restrictions. We have like filming from very far, which makes it a little challenging when it comes to like the voice and the frames. So bear with us. It's not a documentary that maybe we will not win an Oscar or something for this documentary, but I know that we'll win a lot of hearts once you see it. I also want to share with you that some women did not feel comfortable showing their faces in the documentary. So that's why sometimes you will see like part of the woman maybe from the back on the side. This is not a technical error. It's because to respect and honor the wishes of every woman. So some women did not show their faces. In this documentary, we didn't only want to show the tough, sad experience of displacement that we acknowledge and we know that all our clients go through. We also wanted to show the power and the resiliency and the beauty that our women bring to the communities. We also wanted to show happy moments and funny moments. Because often when people talk about refugees, we always talk about it's very hard, lots to process, they're starting again. But this is half of the story. The second half is like those are people that are so powerful, so strong, full of life, determination, resourceful, creative. They are trying to rebuild a life despite that not being their choice. They did not choose to, move. They did not choose to go to another country. However, they just stand up again and try to rebuild everything from zero with all the challenges like cultural, linguistic, financial, and all what the women will share now. So hopefully you'll see the two sides of this experience. We're gonna start the movie. We'll have a few minutes at the end. If you guys want to have some questions around the movie or anything you want to share, we'll be very happy to answer. And I think we can start the movie now. Enjoy.
I started We Can Do It in 2019 and have been facilitating it for 3 years now. It is part of the psychosocial support services that the IRC offers and is open to all women who would benefit from it, independently of their status in the US. The program uses different tools and mediums to foster holistic well-being, prevent the risk of developing mental health problems, help the participants process their traumas and overcome psychosocial challenges that may have arisen from the displacement experience. It also aims to rebuild lost social structure and communities, foster resilience, self-care, and communal care, while respecting the different coping mechanisms and needs of every woman and every culture.
I've been volunteering on the We Can Do It program since its first season, and it has taught me that we are actually a lot stronger and better together than we are alone.
Getting to meet some women and see some women faces, it was awesome for me because I haven't met this many women before. Sharing the same things, and when we talked about things, whether it was about art, it was about movement, it was about whatever thing, when they talked about things and they mentioned back home, I could relate to that, and it just felt so good.
Despite the trauma and adversity that our participants experienced, they always shows up in the group, being open to try new art materials, new art activities, being so brave to share some of their traumatic experiences, being vulnerable and supportive of each other in the group, being so resilient to keep moving forward, to keep expressing themselves through art.
The power of community is very protective and healing. And so even though we did all of our meetings through Zoom this year, I do hope that the women felt some sense of community with us.
Getting to know our community every week, what they go through and all this, that was like, one of the nicest times that I had in IRC, to get to know everyone through Zoom.
This year, due to the pandemic, the program had to be offered virtually, with added another layer of challenges in technology access, digital literacy skills, and online interpretation. However, it turned out to be another great story that tells how resilient, creative, and flexible our clients are, and how capable they are in recreating thriving lives.
I can tell you these women are so strong and resilient, and it takes a lot of courage to come here and to America and start a new life. And not only because they are women, but because they also have small children that they have to take care of.
Having to leave their parents, having to leave their siblings and their friends, and not ever knowing what was going to come next for them and their families, what was going to come next for the people that they were leaving behind.
I have learned so much more from these women than I could give. If you have ever worked with them, you will know what I mean. You will see their resilience, their power, and the hope they bring.
With We Can Do It, every single woman involved has helped to build something special through our willingness to engage, to share our own stories, and to smile and cry and laugh together.
سال نوش مثلا که اینکه مردم جشن میگیرن روز ملی رو جشن میگیرن.
Kinachonifurahisha kuhusu mila ni wakati tunaenda kwenye sherehe, tukialikwa kwenye sherehe kimila yetu, kama uko mwanamke ni lazima ufunge vitenge viwili. Hiyo ni mila ambayo naifurahia sana, mila yangu, kuvala vitenge. Hizi nguo za hivi,
Mila yetu ya kuvaa, ya kula, ya kuishi, mila ni mingi. Ya yote. Mila yetu ya kuvaa ni kama mimi navala kitenge. Mnaona vitenge ndio mila yetu kwanza ya kuvala hii. Mila ingine ya kwetu ni mapenzi, tunapendanaga, tunakutanaga fasi, tunacheza, tunafurahi, tunaishi na wandugu vizuri. Ndio mila yetu hiyo. Hapana kutengana.
التكافل الاجتماعي، الناس يعني بتسأل على بعضها، بتنتبه كثير على بعضها، يعني بيهتموا بأمور بعض، بالأفراح بالأحزان، يعني بيشوفوا إيش حدا ناقصه شيء بيساعدوه، يعني هي كثير هون مفتقدينها. يعني هون الدولة يعني بتلاقي بتهتم أكثر من الناس بشكل عام.
The way we made our traditional is very beautiful, and like it was the most attractive traditional in Papua New Guinea, and they love our traditional dance, traditional song, and the traditional costume. And because when they saw the dance, we dance, it was like it's really hard to dance like us, because the way we shake and the way we move our leg, it's very fast.
Kwetu tunalima, tunatoa mimea haina mboleo. Tunalima mihogo hakuna mboleo, tunalima karanga, tunalima viazi, mandizi natoka bila mboleo, ile kutia ile mabunga yao ya mboleo.
Pays Central Afrique, dans mon pays, on a tenté de travailler avec la femme, comme le jour de fête 8 mars, on a tenté de faire le défilé, on a tenté de s'amuser, manger, rester ensemble quoi.
أحلى شيء هو طبعا رمضان، أجواء رمضان مثل هلا الأجواء اللي نحن فيها. المميز نحن عنا بحلب أكثر شيء لازم تكون موجودة الكبة النية والفتوش والشوربة العدس، لازم يكون موجود كل يوم.
Mila yenye inatufurahisha nyumbani ni wakati siku ya feti ya wamama. Hindi tunakula maragi na bisamunyu na maziwa ya kivuguto.
امنیت نیست. اگه امنیت باشه خیلی چیزای خوب داره، از جمله اینکه خیلی مردم دارن و خیلی با اقوام فامیل مخصوصا روزا عید و این چیزا رو خیلی خوب تجهیز میکنن. اینجور نیست که هر کس تو خونش تنها باشه و این چیزا. خیلی خوش میگذره اگه امنیت باشه کشورم.
Home, my country. What do I miss?
Oh, everything.
Télévision, j'ai même pas de divan, vous rentrez même vous voir.
Chakula
na comida.
Mboga za asili, mboga ambayo inayoitwa mboga uchungu, hiyo mboga naipenda sana.
I miss some food that I can't find here.
Ya mbuzi wanachinja hapo hapo akikai kwenye friji. Yaani wanaita sijui kama natural food. Na nilikuwa napenda kula mboga uchungu pamoja na mahole. Sijui mahole utaelewa. Mboga uchungu na mahole.
Yaani natamani kama muogo wa Afrika na wa huko kwa tofauti, natamani muogo wa Afrika. Ni mtamu kuliko ni wa huko.
I miss my career. I miss the non-profit organizations I worked with. I miss my patients who are kids so much.
I just miss the environment.
Nyumbani nimetamani hiyo
coconut moja huko nyumbani kidogo unazaa kama hata mtoto mdogo anaenda anaenda akachukua hiyo na coconut. Nimeipanda hata saa hii na mara nimeona kwenye njozi.
Kitu ambacho kinanifanya nikumbuke nyumbani ni familia yangu.
I miss family.
I miss some members of family. Yeah.
Nyumbani natamani familia yangu yenye kuko na watoto wa ndugu zangu.
Natamani mama yangu, nyumba, natamani mdogo wangu, acha kule. Hatuna wazazi kwa kia yeye tusichana
برای الان که مثلا این چیز هستم، خب کشورم که من خیلی کوچیک بودم اومدم بیرون، خب منتها خب کشور مثل مادر آدمه.
اکثر شيء بشتاق طبعا لعمي وابوي.
بله خب پدر مادرم خیلی دلم براشون تنگ میشه.
Kwa nini niliotoka natamani watoto wangu waje juu niliacha hali ya kuona na mpaka hivi naona haijaisha. Ingali tu.
وأكثر شيء الهجرة تهجير من بلدنا والحرب يعني.
Ngumu niliyoipitia ni wakati kule kwetu nyumbani nchi yetu ya Kongo DRC, wakati ilishikwa na vita, inapiganishwa na watu wa jirani kama gisi mnajua. Yani ule muda ni muda mgumu kwangu kwa sababu tuliingiliwa nyumbani kwetu, tukachukuliwa, kaka zangu walichukuliwa na wakauawa kwenye macho yetu sisi wote pale, kwa sababu wakati wa vita huwa tunajifungia kwenye manyumba. Sasa wale madui wakikuja huwa wanaingia kwenye nyumba, wanachukua watu, wanawatia nje, kama ni kuchinja wanachinja kabisa. Sasa hiyo ni wakati mgumu kabisa, na siwezi hata kusahau gisi kakaangu aliuawa mbele ya macho yangu. Hiyo inaniumiza sana, tena sana.
Hali ngumu niliyopitia kawaida ni kama vile kukimbia. Ukimbizi ni hali ngumu nilipitia, na kuona vile watu wanauawa ndio hali hiyo ilipitia.
Nitaacha nalia sasa, nitaacha nalia, lakini tu ni kawaida niseme hali ngumu nilipitia nyumbani kwetu wakati yenye tulisikia vita imeanza. Ili ilikuwa hali ngumu sana, tena sana. Ndio siku mamangu alikufa, akakufa kifo kama kifo cha walichinja kama wanachinja mbuzi. Ile hali kabisa nilipitia na ikanifanya nikuwe na pressure mpaka sasa haijapona.
Hali ngumu ya nilipita katika vita, familia ilikufa, tukakimbilia kwenye kambi zimetupokea mpaka vile tulifika huku, na kungaliki mafamilia wasaidie na wengine waliobakia makambi. Juu wene wanabakia makambi wanateseka.
Kupitia hali ngumu kambini, mkoko mtu mwenyewe alinipiga kama kumbe nikavunjika, nikasikia yangu kabisa, nikasikia peke yangu kwa sana kwa sababu alinitia maisha baya sana kwa ndio shida nilipitia kwenye kambi.
سخت‌ترین چیزی که تو زندگیم پیش اومده همین که ترکیه بودیم 7 سال اونجا بلا تکلیف بودیم، برام خیلی سخت بود.
از سخت‌ترین زمان من از روزی که پام گذاشتم تو امریکا، چون هر روز بیمارستان بودم، خیلی وحشتناک بود.
Ce que c'est difficile ici même difficile, c'est la langue. Langue anglaise, c'est difficile vraiment. J'ai fait tout et tout puisque je connais langue anglaise, mais c'est difficile. J'ai en train d'écouter, mais pour écrire là, c'est difficile.
تعرضت لحادث سير تقريبا من 6 شهور، وبسبب عدم فهمي
كلام الشرطي حطني بمأزق 6 شهور. يعني كتير كان صعب علي وعلى عائلتي بسبب اللغة.
Napendelea hapa Amerika wakati ya
Yaka napendelea sana Amerika ni miaka ya wakati ya sino, hata nakula sino sana.
Comme maintenant il y a des fleurs ici là c'est bien. Yeah, mais je n'aime pas les snow.
Mimi napenda wakati ya green, pani majani na jeuka, miti kama ikauka, naongeza na kwanza.
Spring.
Spring.
روز خاصی رو دوست ندارم ولی بهار کلا خیلی دوست دارم. وقتی که همه جا سبز میشه منم یه شوق و ذوق خیلی مضاعف بهم دست میده برای تلاش توی پیشرفتایی که دارم.
Spring.
فترة الربيع.
Napenda wakati kama huu hivi. Inanifurahisha sana.
Spring. I would say spring or summer.
Hapa Marekani napendelea wakati wa jua.
Oh, yeah, summer.
Napendaga kipwa juu. Kipwa. Sana. Sana.
Napenda wakati ya summer.
Acción de gracias.
Christmas.
Watu kuishi na imbwa.
Ni bora niongee ukweli. Hapa Amerika nacheka na kitu kimoja tena kinanishangaza sana. Nikiona mtu anatembea na chupi. Yaani hicho kinanichekesha sana na kuona kama
The way people live, like you go to the beach with your parents, your daddy and your mom, and you just wear shorts. But in Africa, we can't do that. So I found it like funny, and I don't.
به چیز خاصی که اینجا بخواد اونجوری باشه نه، ولی خودم عاشق موتور سواری ام و دوست دارم یک روز خیلی بهاری یه موزیک خیلی بلندم بذارم با موتورم همه جا رو بگیرم.
صراحة الهالوين.
این هالوینش هست که چون ما نداریم چه چیزی را اینجا اومدم تو شنیده بودم، اما اینجا که اومدم سال اول که دیدم اینا با شوهرم اولین بار رفتیم دانتاون، همه این چیزا رو از نزدیک یکم برام هم جالب بود هم
لأولادي الأشياء وأنا عم بضحك يعني كل الوقت.
Que las personas de aquí son muy puntuales y nosotros los latinos somos impuntuales.
از خنده‌دار اینا زیاد چیز، اما این که مثلا آدمایی هستن که هیچ به هیچ کس کار ندارن، سوال نمی‌کنن کی هستی، از کجا اومدی، به چه چیز هستی، زبون اینا، این خیلی جالبه برام، چون تو ترکیه سوال میکنن، تو ایران، تو افغانستان هم هست.
Kitu ambacho kimenichekesha kuishi hapa Marekani ni pale ambako unaona, inachekesha pale ambako unaona mtu aogopi kusema matusi au kusema au asikii haya kusema tusi. Hata unaweza kuwa na watoto wakasema tusi, na ambao kwa mila yetu ni kitu cha ajabu, cha aibu. Kwa hiyo ndio uoga inanifika.
Kitu ya kunifurahisha, kunichekesha ni kuona miti ilishaga kauka tena ongeze na kuwa mpya wakati ya summer.
I don't know. It's not just about America. I think it's the contrast. Most of the days, I just wonder about the contrast of people and things and system you can have. It's how people and things and system, culture, everything can be so different in different places of the world.
Kinanichekesha. Kitu ambacho kinanichekesha kisha hapa Amerika. Najua sijui kama naweza sema ni kitu gani ambacho kinanichekesha hapa hivi. Naweza sema kinyi naonaga kinyi sijawahi kuona ni snow. Kwa ajili ile snow inakuwa inanifurahisha sana. Kuona mawingu inashuka chini na sijawahi kuiona tokea kuzaliwa kwangu.
Snow
ndio imekufanya ucheke?
Inanifurahisha
snow.
Nacheka nikiona snow kabisa, ni kitu nilikuwa sijawahi kuona.
Tangu tulifika hapa niliona snow, nikashangaa kweli, nikacheka. Sio hatukuwa tunaijua.
الجو تغير الجو مثلا مثل هالأوقات يعني قبل أسبوع.
Kuwa mwanamke bora ambaye ana mafunzo mazuri kwa wanangu, hicho najivunia kwa ajili nalea watu. Niko single mama, nalea watoto wangu peke yangu hadi wameshakomaa.
I have tried to stay strong, and I have tried to go through the things and carry on regardless of whatever I have faced. I have overcome so many things. Being alone and starting from scratch in a country, starting from a shelter to a housing and having a job and a certification. Taking care of 2 kids along with that. I think I have stayed strong. Well, I see my kids and they keep me going. If it was for me, I don't know what decisions I would have taken, what choices I would have made. But knowing that I have 2 kids and to take care of, to provide, and I look towards their future, and it's linked to me, so I got to do my best.
I'm proud of being a mother of 4 children, and I'm proud of being alive.
Pues mis 2 hijas, ser la mujer que soy, me siento que soy una mujer fuerte. A pesar de todas las cosas me siento fuerte y alegre y feliz, pero más feliz de tener mis 2 hijas.
هو صعب بسبب اختلاف الثقافات يعني شوي، بس يعني أفضل يعني.
Najivunia kuhusu mimi ni kwani niko hapa Amerika muda tangu corona ikuje, hii mwaka wa pili situmika, lakini nakula njo naona muhimu hapa. Najivunia Amerika iko nchi nzuri.
Kitu kimoja kwanza, najivunia kwanza afya yangu, sababu ni wengi walifariki, mimi nikingali bado hai. Ni jambo kwanza la kujivunia hili.
Mimi kujivunia na jivunia kwa ni mama watoto 8. Najivunia kwa watoto wangu wanasoma shule, sasa hii wanataka wafanye kazi. Hiyo tunajivunia hivyo, ni nafurahi pamoja na watoto wangu nyumbani.
Na pia wataenda college baadaye, sio?
wataenda college baadaye.
خب من یک آدم تقریبا ریسک‌پذیریم. یک کاری رو اگه دلم بخواد و اشتیاق داشته باشم سعی می‌کنم اون کار حتما انجام بدم. حتی اگه نشه سعی می‌کنم باز انجامش بدم. میگم تلاشم کردم، قسمت نبود، حالا به هر دلیلی نشد، ولی من تلاش خودم رو کردم و پیش خیال و وجدان خودم راحتم که برای بهتر شدن زندگی یا هرچی قدم اول رو برداشتم.
کار از اینجور چیز کردن، اما من چون یه آدم هستم بیشتر خیلی بروز نمیدم، همش تو خودمه. بعد بیشتر کوشش میکنم کنار بیام با مشکلاتایی که سر راهم قرار میگیره.
I want to choose the best.
Okay.
So, I really love to sing.
Pues bailar zumba, mucha zumba.
Nijue kwanza lugha.
از بچگی دوست داشتم نرس باشم. بعد تو ایران یک کمک‌های اولیه رو یاد گرفتم و آموزش دیده بودم اینا. بعد اونجایی که من نتونستم درس بخونم و
To make a homemade jewelry and I can just upload to the Facebook and sell it out.
Kwa mwalimu wa watoto shuleni.
تدریس.
در مرحله اول خونه‌داری و آشپزیمه.
Ningekuwa social worker.
Socializing, knowing people, because I didn't have much of chance of socializing back home with people, and I'm learning to do that.
Mimi ningekuwa mshauri kwa ajili mimi napendaka kushauri watu.
Ningekuwa daktari.
Ningekuwa daktari.
Mimi nataka niwe daktari mzuri kama nimesoma tu, nimetaka niwe daktari ama dereva tu.
A doctor.
Atakuwa daktari.
من از بچگی دوست داشتم آرایشگر بشم.
Jouer là, je suis en joie. Mais je connais pas jouer, je connais pas trouver.
Napaswa kuwa mchuruzi, nakuwa na duka zangu, wala nakuwa na hoteli.
Business like business.
Mchuruzi.
Isaidie watu. To be at White House. Yes.
J'ai fait les filles de ça, les matrons, midwife, voilà, midwife. En Afrique, je suis midwife, mais quand je suis venue ici, bien sûr, c'est à cause de l'anglais, je ne connais pas.
Yeah. My main goal is to reach a point in these 5 years to have a better job, a stable job. And it actually involves me trying to get into the dental licensing. I was a dentist back home and I would like to get back into dentistry. I think I would love to stay in Boulder County. We've been here for 3 years and I have known some people here, and being alone in a country, all on my own, knowing some people is a big thing.
Lengo yangu baada ya miaka 5 naweza kuwa nakuwa na nyumba yangu, nakuwa wakuwa na chumba watoto, kama niko na nyumba yangu.
En mi propia casa y con un niño más.
Nafurahi sana. Nimaliza miaka 5 nilishanunua nyumba. Mungu akaniwezesha. Kwa hiyo miaka 5 sikukosa kazi. Mungu akaniinua. Sikuwa najua lugha lakini Mungu akanisaidia.
Napenda nitumike kazi kwa ajili mimi ni mchapakazi, napendaga kazi sana, na nikitumika natumika bila woga, na nikipata hela zangu ninunue nyumba, sio nyumba ya kupanga ya wengine, iwe yangu peke yangu.
Baada ya miaka 5 napenda kwanza Mungu anisaidie nipate citizen cha kwanza.
Na nini nyingine?
Pia na nyumba. Na mimi niuze nyumba.
Kitu kingine?
Watoto. Ya na watoto Mungu awasaidie wakuwe kwa malezi bora.
Ujiona baada ya miaka 5. Baada ya miaka 5 kwanza nafurahia nichukue ndo nini? Citizen, niwe raia wa Marekani. Baada ya miaka 5 nataka nikipata pesa kama kipato kikubwa ninunue nyumba kama ya kwangu.
أنا بدرس وباخد شهادات وعندي فود سيفتي وهوسبيتالي وعندي تبعات الديكير، وحاليا كمان أخذت الCDA تبعت الديكير كمان. يعني دائما الواحد لازم يكون عنده طموح.
Miaka 5 yenye nakuja naiona mzuri kwa juu ndakuwa najua ndakuwa nishapata pesa, ndafanya business.
I work hard and have amount of money and buy a house and have a business owner.
Miaka 5 ijayo nataka nipate kazi nzuri, nipate nyumba yangu mwenyewe na watoto wangu kwa moja, niende nikamwangalie mama yangu kwa Afrika.
همین که خب مهاجرت اینو سختیه روی هر کسی میاد. میخوام بگم به اونایی که میان مهاجر میشن به هر دلیلی به هر کشوری، اینا روحیه‌شون از دست ندن، خودشونا یعنی چیز نکنن دیگه، یعنی چی میگن، خودشونا نبازن. زندگی آسمون خدا هر جایی که بری همین رنگه. زندگی کوشش کنن ادامه بدن به هر طوری که شده.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that amazing video. I want to say a special thank you to all of the women who participate, who make it a priority in their day-to-day lives to show up for the We Can Do It program, and who also shared their stories, their insights, and their experiences to help bring the program to life. I'm sorry that we couldn't all be there to see it in action, but it was really wonderful to hear from them. Big thanks to Alex Romberg and to Mireille Bacchus and all of the many volunteers who helped to make this happen, including the interpreters and all of the incredible individuals from the Junior League of Denver who have sponsored this program and supported it along the way, not only with financial resources to make it happen, but with their time and their energy and their commitment to showing up and being with the women who participate, even when it's virtual. I see we have a couple of questions, and we would welcome other questions that you may have, so please feel free to use the chat. Mireille, our first question is around, with vaccines now being available, is We Can Do It planning on meeting in person sometime this year?
Yeah, so We Can Do It usually run from November till maybe April, depends on the years. So hopefully now we're preparing for the next cycle, and hopefully by November we can all be back in person at that time. And yes, we'll be very happy to have more volunteers and more women participating. However, we also are considering keeping it a hybrid, because many women used to struggle with transportation to come to the venue where we're meeting, and despite the difficulties of being virtual, this also opened the door for women who cannot really go, or like they have a lot of kids, or for any other reason. So hopefully it will also hybrid will be a form that we will follow in order to open it to more women.
Thank you. Yes, it's really interesting in how many places we've found that offering some virtual services can help to remove those barriers, whether it's transportation or childcare or balancing work schedules and school schedules with other things that you'd like to do. And it's been really impressive. Mireille and our staff, as well as our volunteers, have been working really closely with the clients to help them gain digital skills over the last year so that they can access devices and log into Zoom and participate, and all of the troubleshooting that goes along with it, as I'm sure everybody who's on tonight is very familiar with at this point in time. So very wonderful to have that opportunity, and also as we hopefully come out of the pandemic to be able to hold on to a few of those things that are really beneficial and help to make programs more accessible. Our next question was around sponsoring the program and wondering how that can happen. So we're really grateful this year that we've been able to partner with the Junior League of Denver to sponsor this program, but it is always available to anybody who would like to support. We fund the program through individual contributions and through grants from private foundations. So there's always a way to do that through our website at rescue.org/Denver. There's a donate button, and you can restrict your gift for We Can Do It if you would like. But yes, we're always open to that. And one of the really beautiful things I think about funding the program in the way that we have, which is largely through private resources, is that we're able to be flexible and be responsive. And Mireille has worked really closely with the women who participate to shape a program that is what they want it to be. I will say I got really teary-eyed through a lot of that video, because I remember in 2018, before we started this program, talking with many of those same women who felt really isolated. They felt really scared. They didn't really have, at that time, as much of an ability to see goals for themselves and see the path there, and to see them where they are now and able to support one another and very confidently bring forward the things that they're hoping for in the future is just incredible. So we do hope that if you are interested in giving and supporting that, you'll do that. Would also encourage you to reach out to our development coordinator, Pam Encinas, who's on this call, but also managing all of the technology, because she's a great person to get into contact with if you'd like to learn more. I'm going to take a moment to check the chat, and also if anybody else has any other questions, we'll open it up for those.
Thank you for the great comments on the YouTube. I'm trying to keep track between Zoom and YouTube. Thank you all for all the nice comments. This program wouldn't have been possible without the women and all what they shared, and being open to being vulnerable and showing up for each other. And sometimes, with all the challenges and the technology that Jennifer mentioned, it was really challenging actually this year. But one time a woman in the group said that this is the only thing she looks for in her week. And then when you hear this, you know that all what we've, all the efforts we're doing really worth it. Even sometimes you feel tired. It's like, oh, wow, now you have this extra layer of challenges and things to handle. But then sentences like this make you feel that what you're doing is really meaningful, and you forget all the other things and your fatigue and all. So thank you. I don't think we have other questions.
We don't have any other questions, but thank you again for making time to join us.
I think there's one. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I think Chrissy posted what was I'm moving between the two windows.
I am too. Yes. Thank you for bearing with us, everyone.
What was the easiest and hardest parts of filming? The hardest part definitely was, as you noticed, we had to be outdoors all the time because of COVID, and it's often windy in this time of the year. So there was a lot of wind, and also we always had to, find ways to make the, the speech more audible. This was a real challenge. Scheduling around, the volunteers, the people that were filming, the women's schedule, and the interpreters. But the easiest part, I guess, was the sharing part, because those women were so used after 3 years to opening up and talking. Even, some stories were really hard to share and to listen, but they were always, with their shining vulnerabilities, just, sharing and knowing that they will not be judged. I think the easiest part was this part, where people open up and outside of that's wrong, that's right, should I or shouldn't I, and just share and open up to each other and to people around them. Yeah.
And I think that's always a hard space to navigate, to create opportunities for sharing where people don't feel pressure and they know that they can choose what's right for them. And I have to say, I really love the part of the movie when one of the women started to tell her story, and it was a really hard story about her mother, and you could hear her friend chime in the background, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And so I think also that kind of support and empowering women to make their own decisions when often maybe their past has been characterized by a lack of power is really a beautiful aspect of this program. I think one of the things that makes it so incredible for the people who participate, whether you're a client, a refugee, or an immigrant who's participating, or a volunteer, that really creates that space. I'm checking all of our different.
Yeah, yeah, I'm checking too. I think we don't have any other questions, unless if there's a last question, but I don't see any.
Yeah, we don't have any other questions, but thank you again for joining us this evening. It's really been a pleasure. We miss more than anything the chance to be in a room together with all of you, and hope we will have that chance next year. But for this year, we will also hope to see you at our other events this week in celebration of World Refugee Day and commemorating refugees in the arts. So we do have events every evening. We'll look forward to seeing you there. And if you have questions, please always feel free to reach out to us through our website. Again, rescue.org/Denver. You'll find pretty much everything you need there if you want to learn more. Thank you again, Mireille, everyone who's joined, Pam for helping to organize this, all of our incredible staff and interpreters who contributed, the volunteers, the women who participated, and the Junior League of Denver for your sponsorship. We are incredibly grateful, and we look forward to more to come this week. I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.